Welcome to the UDP broadcast, a podcast where a group of friends get together and discuss gaming-related news with offering both informed and uninformed opinions. I'm Luminary, and I'm accompanied today by the co-hosts, the Nordic Cajun,
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the crew.
the Eternal Barcode Aimee,
Hello, how's it going? Hope everyone's having a great day.
and Crit Chicken from the Emerald Dream.
And fashionably late. Hello.
Well, it's not really
A
late.
chicken
You made
is
it.
never late or early. They arrive exactly when they mean to.
Right into the deep fryer.
Yeah.
Mm.
Squawk.
KFC.
Oh, let me hit the transition button. There we go.
Hey.
Yay! We didn't have to tell him.
That's exciting. Today,
So what I have to, sorry.
go. No,
I was
go
gonna
ahead.
say what I have to look out for is a life insurance policy because he's probably gonna devour me. Like no.
Yeah.
Well, it is apparently allegedly horny day today on October 29th.
Thank
Take that as you will.
Thank you, Catboy, for notifying us via Twitter that today is Horny on Main Day.
Yup.
And also cat day too. So that's twofer.
Oh no.
Twofer, get it? Twofer. Ah, get him. Sorry.
We're off to a fantastic start, boys and girls. Let's go.
Let's go.
This week has been pretty interesting as far as news is concerned. And by interesting, I meant garbage.
It's been really boring.
It has. So,
Yeah, for our typical run of the mill stuff, yes, very much so.
I mean, don't be wrong. There was like lawsuits with Disco Elysium. There was more Activision Blizzard shenanigans. There's just it's all starting to look the same. And is it really worth talking about? So today we're going to take a different approach, and we're actually going to approach hardware and go with
Woo.
that, and maybe talk about something about Disney. And then,
Oh, Lord, watch your shoulders for Goofy in the mouse.
and you noticed I put Potpourri in the title, and that's pretty much what's going to be the end of this. We're going to talk, and it's going to smell nice.
Yay!
Think of it as an extended round table.
like a palate cleanse.
Yeah, it's like the pre-show, but in the show.
Oh no.
So no, not even too low hanging fruit. Not even no.
Yeah, there we go. So what do we got in the hardware scene? And I bring up hardware because part of being a PC gamer, and for you console gamers out there that are viewing this and listening in, typically if you're a PC gamer, you start getting into hardware and building your own systems and understanding how all of that works. And so I picked out some things like that would be crucial to understand this day and age, like the new form factor that came out for the ATX 3.0 that the NVIDIA RTX 4090 uses.
Oh god, that thing.
Yeah, that thing. Yeah, I read up on that. The thing is a nightmare. So
It is.
here's the thing. These things are bursting into flames, or they're melting down, or they're
Like
not.
Teslas.
Wait, Teslas are melting down?
That's
They
inside-
used to.
Yeah, with their internal battery shiz.
Ooh.
We discussed that on here before.
Did
Yeah. First couple generations of them just kept on catching fire. It was like, oh, okay.
we?
I cast Fireball. You mean Tesla. I cast Tesla.
I don't care how big the garage is.
Is that where you just open the door, stick a brick on the accelerator, and let it go?
Yeah, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about this. The type of cable that's used is a 12 VH PWR. And I guess, like, if you were to break it down and try to remember the acronym, 12 virtual horsepower would be how I would remember it. And these cables supplied by NVIDIA require you to understand that you cannot bend the cables close to the connector. Because what happens is it messes up the distribution of power across all the pins. And these pins and this connector isn't, I'm not going to say isn't made very well, but it's not protecting the consumer so much as far as like destroying their multi-$1,000 gaming rigs. Not to mention, like, not more than 4 weeks ago, NVIDIA said, yeah, no, check this out. We're not reducing the price of anything. This was shortly before the crypto miners. It was just like, well, we can't really mine anymore, so they're going to flood the market. So now we've got this thing going on. So how popular is it at this particular point? So let me ask you guys this. When you buy something and you expect to plug it in, you expect it to work, you expect it to work flawlessly, and you expect it to not set things on fire or melt or cause problems in your home, in your life, or anything. Am I correct in this?
Typically,
Yeah.
that's the bare minimum.
Yeah,
I'd like to plug it in and not have a fire. I don't want to have to worry about, having a fire extinguisher right beside my computer.
Right, and that's the consumer abstraction. You should be able to plug it in, add batteries, press the power button, and it makes the happy, fun stuff, right?
So,
Exactly.
but with this little graphics card, it sounds like you're playing a Russian roulette every time you turn your computer on.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I know that the articles that I've read on this, it was talking about manufacturers are saying, hey, like if you're going to use this new form for this 12 VH PWR, that if you are going to have to bend the cable, make sure you do it 35 millimeters away from the connector. And Nordic and Crit and Amy, you're familiar with how to install video cards, correct?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, video cards are starting to become about as large as the case.
True.
And trying to not do that when installing a video card in tight quarters is not easy to do.
Yeah, we don't want to get a computer tower that's literally taller than our desk just to fit a graphics card. But that's just the way things seem to be going with their designs.
Well, yeah. I mean, I made a reference to Amy earlier. Anybody here remember 3DFX's Voodoo cards?
I am not familiar now.
Well, that was the pre-NVIDIA. Like they were dominating the market while NVIDIA was releasing the twin Texels and whatnot. And and their latest, I think it was the Voodoo 4, the Voodoo Graphics 4 that they released, was ridiculously huge. It was about as big as your forearm as far as length is concerned. It was thick, and it required external power, not like external power from your power supply, because at that point, power supplies weren't powerful enough to supply power to this thing. Like you had an external like AC adapter that you had to plug into the back of this thing to do the graphics.
I'm looking up so I can see the size of this bitch.
Not small.
Pretty much. And graphics.
It's a Voodoo 4, right?
I think so. I don't even remember if it actually made it to market. The big thing with Voodoo is what NVIDIA is doing with, and ATI is doing with their cards, where you can use multiple cards timed together, except they called it scanline interleaving. So it would do so one card would do every other line, the other one would do the every other set of pixels, right? So that's how you got the graphics performance out of it.
It's very weird looking. It's like a naked graphics card.
Mm-hmm.
There's no case or anything. But then I'm looking at this thing, the legendary 3DFX Voodoo 5. This bitch has 4 fans on it. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. But even today, like, there's so much packed onto these video cards, you almost have to, like, wedge it into one of the 5 1/4 slots, for where you used to put a CD-ROM drive or a DVD drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Careful now. Too many people don't know what those things are anymore.
Right.
I gotta
Back
say,
in our day, we had to play games with CDs.
A CD is a plastic disc that has a shiny side and a label on it.
I got
You
one
could
better. I got one better. I used to have a stack of discs, like
I still do.
I'm sorry for those of you that are not old, stack of save icons that weren't 3D printed. They were sold that way. That you had to put in an order. That's how you used to install Windows and everything else. And not only that, you had to execute the game. There was no GUI interface. You had to type. You had to like type command lines like you were using Linux or something, but it was MS-DOS.
God.
Yeah.
Typing. What do you mean I can't point and click, sir?
How dare you make me do things?
Indeed. So, but yeah, that ends up being a problem. It's a design flaw. And what's happened is the cable manufacturers, I think there's one that was talking about this particular issue. It was, the name of the company is CableMod. they were talking about how you shouldn't bend this thing. And the articles that I'm going to have linked in the description for the resulting YouTube video of this podcast will show you some of the things that's going on. And there's plenty of pictures on Reddit and the NVIDIA subreddit where you just see these nasty melted connectors where it's just burst into flames. But what they're saying is that you should potentially get a different cable that wasn't included with the graphics card and use that instead, because the likelihood of doing anything stupid is much lower.
Quote unquote.
Indeed. Yeah, so, and this is how they're doing it. The quote here is, PSU vendors are selling alternate connectors that ditch the bulky connector for a single cable that terminates into two 8-pin power connectors on a PSU, or a power supply unit, right? So it made it easier. It's no longer flimsy, and you can't really fuck it up unless you intentionally try, which is great as far as like consumers are concerned, because again, our level of abstraction is I plugged it in, I want the thing to work, not cause an insurance claim.
It's kind of ridiculous that they still, to this day, have massive design flaws like that. Like, when you're doing your QA, do you just not have a QA department anymore? Because if you don't, I highly recommend you start paying for one.
Indeed.
You need these people out there testing these things day in and day out until something blows up, and then you got to find out what blew up instead of waiting for Jimmy down the road who's building his first computer for the first time, and he catches his whole daggum house on fire trying to play the Burning Crusade, and actually got too real for his
Becomes the
computer
Burning
room.
Crusade.
I feel kind of attacked right now because I was actually thinking about building my first computer. Now you're like, haha, it's gonna fuck shit up now.
Well, it won't be you, it'll be NVIDIA. So that means you get to sue them.
Well, you
and
oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you get to sue them and then make an even bigger computer.
Exactly.
First
and possibly even buy a new house, depending on how much money you get out of them.
It's
I
a
guess you
win-win.
can call it the molten core.
Grown, but good, but grown.
That was good. That was good.
I think the first computer I built from scratch, I think I literally put my blood, sweat, and tears into, because I cut myself in the case really bad. So,
Ooh.
yeah.
That just means it will make it run smoother.
That's right.
Yeah.
Red makes things go faster, right, Amy?
Blood is the perfect
Basically,
lubricant.
yeah.
It's a perfect. Never mind.
See, the first, yeah, that's horny on May Day.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
Don't
it's more
apologize.
Nordic.
It's mostly me. I'm pulling it out of people.
Well,
phrasing. Thank God this is a mature stream.
Well,
I hope.
Well, there's also
no, not immature. I'm mature on a different level, just not as high as everybody else.
Well,
get a higher concentration, then you'll be higher.
I got too many. That's my dumb stat. I got too many points in strength right now.
Yeah. They always say the moment you're able to see your stats, you always wondered where you fucked up. That's where it is.
There it is. Found it. I found the weak link, boys. Now, that's actually one of my goals for 2023 is to be able to build my first real PC, because the PC I'm using right now, God bless him, was given to me by Boombody before he moved, and it's still running. And this was back in circa math 2011, I want to say.
Yeah, because he was like in an adjacent town from you too, wasn't he?
Yeah, we ate together all the time and hung out all the time when he was able to. And I was on a trash PC at the time, and he was able to help you boy out. But it's the only thing I've changed in this thing is the graphics card. So she's still running strong, but I want a monster.
Yeah, you're running legacy right now. You should probably start putting back for that. I'm doing the same thing for my buddy. Because I'm doing this whole podcast and all the editing on a really badass Legion laptop from Lenovo, and I plan on looking for getting him something. But we're right on the cusp of another processor generation, so I'm kind of holding off. And this is on top of there's nothing but 15-inch laptops out there right now. So. And
Makes sense.
And like Amy, I'm old. Not near as old as Amy, but like my eyes. Oh. Yeah. So the 17-inch, and it's a gaming laptop, right? You're not going to go anywhere with it. You set it down. It doesn't have the battery life to go like extended play anywhere. Because the moment I unplug this thing, I've got roughly about 45 minutes to an hour before everything gets sucked down with the amount of processing I throw through it. So, but speaking of processing, there is another story that was talking about
Segway.
talking about
Absolutely.
a TikToker called Mr. Yeaster, who does weird thermal paste designs on his TikTok, and he thought maybe, the properties of salt makes it a really good conductor of heat. Perhaps maybe I could mix that in with my thermal paste. And
Please don't ever do this at home.
yeah, disclaimer: don't do this. And decided and wanted to see if this is the actual supercooling formula to actually make this work with the thermal paste.
Spoiler alert.
It doesn't.
Spoiler alert, it'll cook everything.
Indeed. So yeah, it's turns out the iodized salt's thermal conductivity is higher than some thermal paste, and they really and he was like, well, maybe it would create this miracle goop that would with better heat transfer. No,
Well, the problem is, salt is a crystalline structure, and you start packing a whole bunch of those together, they leave air gaps. Air is a shitty heat conductor. So you'll have like your Arctic Silver or equivalent really good thermal paste, but then you're introducing sand essentially and air gaps, which is now going to make your thermal paste and your heat sink completely useless because you have physical obstructions between the two surfaces, so you don't get any heat conduction. Like that, what would possess you to think that? Like, just think of basic geometry. You put two flat surfaces together, you have a flat contact. You start putting blocks in between them, you got air gaps.
I didn't get a chance to actually watch the video where he did it, but I got to thinking, I was like, well, I mean, maybe. Like if he just took like, your regular old cylinder of Morton's iodized salt and was just like, I'm going to mix some of this in with this thermal paste, that was probably the wrong approach. What if, and if Mr. Yeaster ever sees this, what if you actually take all that salt and grind it down even further in a mortar and pestle into a fine powder and then fold that into the thermal paste? Maybe that might help you out.
No.
No?
No. No.
Don't
It'll just
encourage
make
this
him extra
behavior.
Yeah, it'll make it extra salty, and you'll make me extra salty when I
Like,
cry at watching it
he-
get destroyed, but then laugh at you wasting
like,
money.
if you thought this was a great idea, you should really try the Gorilla Glue for hairspray situation.
I
I
saw
was
that.
going to say
I
that.
heard
How
you
dare
get free medical care for that.
Oh, God, people are dumb. See, I think they got that from Elmer's glue, like way back in the day, with the homies in the hood in the '90s when you had all the punk and everything else and the giant ass mohawks. It was not uncommon for people to use Elmer's glue to basically make those giant spikes in their mohawks. The difference being between Elmer's glue and Gorilla Glue, Elmer's glue is water soluble.
Gorilla Glue, you can't get that off ever.
Yeah, like that shit's permanent. It basically it's basically a plasticizer. So you're essentially putting plastic in your hair. Good luck getting that shit out.
You turn your hair into a helmet. Good job, Jimmy.
Yeah, with none of the safety properties of a helmet. You can't even go skating with it.
Nope. Lord Almighty. Like it just makes things that make you go, huh?
I just don't understand how people can get these ideas in their mind and just honestly think they're a good idea.
Look, I'm all for experimentation. I am all for you trying things out.
Yeah, but
To a certain
what's in your
degree.
liquor cabinet, what tastes good together from that liquor cabinet is one thing. Like putting cement in your hair is completely different, sir.
Or salt in your coolant.
Oh. Like I get the idea behind why you'd try to put salt because, salt does affect the boiling temperature of water. It makes it go up higher than 100 degrees Celsius. But at the same time, no, geometry, people, learn your geometry. It just, no. I'm going to go cry in the corner now.
Well, let's shift gears here real quick. Who wants to talk about Disney?
Sure. Let's do it.
All right. So Disney, being in the news, has a mobile game called Disney Twisted Wonderland. Any of you familiar with that game?
No.
I've seen many an ad for it. I haven't played it just because I don't need another game on my phone right now.
Yeah, I got kind of curious. I'm not much into mobile gaming. I'm hearing a lot about Marvel Snap, which you'll get to talk about here in a second, Nordic. Yeah, but it looks like it is a rhythm gacha game where you spend gems to get more villains, I think is how it's described. I took a look at the site, and it seems like it's set up so eerily familiar, like Harry Potter. Like
Oh.
so, like with the houses, and the houses are actually separated out into like the theme movie that it's from. So like there's a Snow White house and so forth and so on. If you go check it out.
Did they actually call it the White House?
No, I said Snow White house, but
Oh.
maybe. Here, I don't have it up. I'll have to go take a look. But either way, so it's very Harry Potter-ish. It looks like it's on the back of that type of trope. And the big thing about this particular game and why it was in the news and why it's even on my radar is because racism. Like,
It seems very anime.
oh yeah, no, don't get me wrong. Like they weebify like every character. Like all the villains are they're all Kingdom Heartsified. That's
Oh,
best.
is this based on? Well, I know Disney's trying their damnedest to get into the anime game. I know with the new Wonderland show they're making, quote unquote, it's a straight anime. So that doesn't surprise me, but I'm curious to see what the issue is now.
Well,
So continue.
well, the issue is do you know who Frollo is?
No.
No.
Never heard the name.
Frollo was one of the main villains in Hunchback of Notre Dame, and last week they announced that this particular villain was coming to Disney's Twisted Wonderland.
Oh.
So it turns out of all the villains that Disney has put out, this one has outright called one of the other characters a racial slur for being Romani, and was stating that they're not capable of real love. And compared to the other villains are like, I'm not happy. This one's like, I want all of your people dead. Like it's pretty intense.
Isn't that the guy that was pretty much telling or trying to burn Esmeralda and stuff like that? Same person?
I guess I never got a chance to see it. I mean, let's see, if it was 96, I was in high school and Disney was not a priority.
But if it's from that movie, I have vague recollections from the movie. I didn't remember the dude's name, but he was a dick.
Yeah.
I will agree with that.
But from the time, I don't think it really affected people so much. But now that this character is being introduced into this game that was going to be in the hands of kids, the big concern is like, oh my goodness, what if they go look up? You know, what is this going to imply? Like, this is a literal shit character. Like, what's going to happen?
He should have been deleted at the very beginning.
Indeed, the Disney Wonderland Twitter has deleted all posts that this character is coming due to.
Jesus.
Yeah, no, like I took a look at like the articles that I found on this. It links to a tweet where they're announcing it and talking about it's gone. That character is not coming. Well, the entire idea is that this particular game, they're not focusing on the negative qualities of the villains because, you know, I don't understand. If you're gonna make a game about villains, they're meant to be bad, right? But they're focusing more on the positive qualities of these villains, and they're not equal because they've set the universes separate as far as like their movie counterparts is concerned. So they're focusing more on the positive aspects of these villains, which is an interesting spin on things, I think. And I say that with a question mark because I don't know how to feel about it. I'm like, if I'm going to play a villain, I want like prototype. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm kind of over the whole everything needs a redemption arc situation. If it's a bad guy, let it be a bad guy.
Right.
Like
Well,
like let evil be evil. Let us fight evil. And if we're going to play an evil game, don't let them be nice. Let them
Let
be
us
them.
kill evil.
Yes. Now, that being said, the design work looks really, really cool. I'm just looking at the picture from the link in our thingamabobber. I want to give Hades a hug. He looks really cool. Like his hairstyle, he got the blue lipstick going on. Like if that is Hades, I'm pretty sure that's Hades. But they all look really cool.
Yeah, they all look cool. They're very stylized, and I think even the gameplay they're chibi-ized as well. Looking at some of the screenshots, it's actually on the site. Didn't get a chance to actually look at the gameplay, but it says rhythm, so I assume you have to tap along to something, right? But it's
Like
supposed
Tap
to be
Revolution.
their villains. It's supposed to be positive. It's uplifting. They're in an academy, so it's a school-based anime Disney Wonderland. It's ridiculous.
It's kind of like Orange Host Club meets Harry Potter.
Right. So, and the goal is to create narrative distance, and I'm just like, well, for as cool as that sounds, it's kind of backfired considering Disney has this large library of IP to pull from.
Oh yeah, like it's one
yes.
of the largest IPs out there, or libraries out there. I'm pretty sure.
Right, and they could literally pull any villain out. And I don't think they thought this one through. I didn't even realize what it was until I saw the article. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, no, I can see where people would have a problem with that. So
yeah, when you're starting to use slurs, that's kind of a problem.
Indeed, I'm pretty sure they're not going to do that in the game. I would find it hilarious that Disney would have to cover that up if they did, but I think that character's no longer coming to the game, so it's not a big deal anymore.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you have plenty of other villains you can choose from. This guy can just stay hidden back in the annals of time, and
yeah,
be
those
forgotten.
times are no longer acceptable. You can go away now.
I mean, like at the beginning of the conversation, not another one of us knew who his name was, so let's just keep it that way.
Yeah, let's just send him back to the annals of the darkest crevice that he actually came out of.
Yeah, we'll place him right next to the Tom and Jerry cartoons from that time period.
Yeah.
Oh man, I remember those cartoons. I watched so many of them.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Like it's really funny when you watch some of that shit now, just how violent it was. Like holy shit. You watch Bugs Bunny, like the original, it's like that's obscenely violent and hilarious at the same time. Like don't get me wrong, I do love it, but it's just like, oh yeah, they used to have it like super violent. That's amazing.
As we
But it
sit
wasn't
here
like
and really enjoy shows like freaking Hell of a Boss now.
oh yeah.
We've all grown up. We need grown up cartoons.
Yes, we need more explicitly violent cartoons right now, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Ultra violence, if you don't mind, with chainsaws and everything.
Yes.
Mhm.
I chose violence this morning, but not regular violence, ultra violence.
Turn that bitch up to 11.
Indeed. You're right, though. There's a lot of stuff that's been taken out because it's just not acceptable now. Like, for the time period, I like how, for the cartoons that are not altered for today's consumption are prefaced with what you're seeing was what was acceptable at the time.
Yeah. It's a way of still showing them, but letting people know that shit is just not acceptable by any stretch of the imagination.
Never is. Speaking of, we've just hit the potpourri part of our podcast, starting with Tom and Jerry and Frollo from Hunchback of Notre Dame. So potpourri, yes. Think of it as extended round table. We got about 30 minutes, and that's a lot of time to discuss what's going on. Like, I'm really interested in the WoW Classic stuff, and if you don't mind, I'd like to start there with both Crit and Imi talking about that.
Yeah, no worries. What would you like to know? I know nothing.
Well, where is it right now? Like, I know that last podcast we were talking, and you're like, I gotta go kill the 4 horsemen in Naxxramas. Is that still a thing, or?
Yeah, it's still a thing. The Naxxramas came out. I mean, I missed out on it today, so I mean, there's always next week, but they're doing that, and people are they don't really care so much about Trial of the Crusader that's supposed to be coming out, but they're looking forward to Old War.
Oh, Old War. I remember that. I remember doing that after it was big, but and I mean that in the sense of we were just now crossing over into Cataclysm, right? So that's where we were, and everything was changing and whatnot, and that's the people that I rolled with, because I started in vanilla, I stopped playing, so I completely missed Burning Crusade, right? And then I came back in Wrath of the Lich King and worked that out, but I didn't make it to endgame fast enough, and it was all about the ICC at that particular point, and I didn't get a chance to do all the cool stuff except for as like legacy runs with Trial of the Crusader and Ulduar and Naxxramas and things like that. That stuff was hard too.
You got a lot further than I did. I started
Yeah.
at the end of vanilla. Burning Crusade was my shit. But I put in the most time in Lich King, and then my attention span fizzled out once Big Dragon Boy showed up, and I haven't played since. So you got a lot further than I did.
Yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff that was in Cataclysm that I did like. I remember it was hard too. Oh my goodness! Like at the beginning of that, heroics were taking like an hour and a half. Like I dashed all the way to the finish line to get top level and gear up, and heroics were horrendous. And they had just redid Deadmines.
And that was one thing I for some reason my brain couldn't comprehend what raiding was. I was more interested in getting all the pets and all the mounts and stuff. Like I grinded. What's the bottom dragon area for Burning Crusade? I cannot remember what it's called.
Nether Drakes.
Them. I grinded for weeks to unlock all them bitches, and I have them. They are gorgeous. They are my babies. Even though I don't log in anymore, they are mine. But I could not figure out for the life of me what's a raid. How do I do this?
If you do spend some time in Classic, make sure you go to the Death Knight starting zone, and once you actually complete it, if you play retail, you'll actually have a proto death dragon looking thing, and it goes away at the launch of Dragonflight because it's a time limited event to actually get it. So there's that, and I've actually kind of been waffling back and forth between Classic and retail. I know because the pre-expansion's happening and I don't want to miss out on the time limited loot coming up, and also dun dun dun, you can be a Draenei rogue or now you can also be a Tauren mage or Tauren rogue as well. So they have now allowed pretty much all classes and whatnot to be rogues, priests, and mages now.
Oh man, I could go for a stab clop. That would be awesome. Like, well, think about it. It's just like seeing, like in D&D or any of your other favorite games, you got this big, large, bulky, just hugga bugga, right? And you're just like, what's your, and you're like, what class is this guy? Oh, he's a rogue. What?
The funny thing is about Taurens, now that I see, is they made, or I don't know how long they've had it, but if you look at the racials, they added crit as a Tauren racial. So I decided to not go the rogue route, but I'm one of the rare few to make a Tauren mage, and her name is Milkshakes.
Because she brings all the Taurens to the yard.
Or to the BGs. Kill them all. Here, have some milkshakes, but die.
Here was my biggest question about Classic. Did you, when it was just the vanilla Classic, before they got back into Burning Crusade and all that, was the rep grind there again, where you had to grind out rep for each faction to unlock their mounts like they did back in the day?
Yes, it's still there, and you still have the grind rep if you want to get the Crusader title in Trial of the Crusader whenever that establishes. So if you want to get those interesting mounts from Trial of the Crusader, if you want to be representative of said factions, you have to be their champion via having their rep 2 exalted.
So check this out. I want to do 0 of that.
Yeah, don't tempt me, Frodo.
But it's jousting.
Oh yeah, no, the jousting's awesome. I loved it, but no. I spent so much time in I almost called it Icewind Dale, and Frostrend or.
Why do I know that name?
Because it's a D&D thing.
Yeah. Okay, I figured. I was like, I know that name from something. Why?
Yeah. So yeah, no, like I think I'm good with what I've done. Like my current gen character has all the history behind him, save for like maybe 3 expansions, and I'm good in that aspect. Like I remember thinking, "Oh man, this game was so great." I forget. I think it was Final Fantasy VII, or it was something else. I forgot what it was. Like, yeah, I would do anything to play something like that again. Maybe I'll just play this game again. And I go to play it. I'm like, "Wow, this is garbage. I hate this," because modern games have spoiled me.
Correct.
So, I think that's where I'm at now. I am looking forward to Dragonflight. I do want to see that go on. I've already maxed out my druid, so there will be some more bear roaring going on.
Right.
Nice.
Oh yeah, no, I level as a bear. Like, I'm really interested in this whole cat weaving thing, and I haven't taken a look at the new talents and special abilities yet. Have you taken a look at that at all, Crit or Amy?
Not me personally, but I think from what I see in guild chat in D7, a lot of people are raving about it. So I'm kind of curious
Like
about
raving
that.
awesome or raving or
No,
like
good so far. Like
okay.
they updated the PvP talents as well. I mean, I see some of the stuff that they have for mages, like Snowdrift, and I'm like, oh, that's gonna mess with some people. I can even make a giant ice wall that obstructs people too. So I'm like, yes, I am mini Jaina Moo.
Jaina Moo. Oh no.
Well,
I'm still trying to get my warlock leveled up because he's only level 56.
well, if you bought the expansion, you should have your magic tokens to like magically boost him up to where he's supposed to be.
Yeah, the boost is to level 60.
Yeah. Well, that
And
cuts
I'm
out like 3
56.
weeks.
It's something that JPEG.
No, that's a huge waste.
Well, if you sub going on Steam and stop playing that snow drifting game so much,
Snow
then
Runner.
yeah, you'll get there. I mean, you still have the winds of wisdom. So if you come back to retail, you have the temporary XP grant of 50% to actually help you get there. I actually got my Tauren mage. They just released this class combo like 3 days ago, in between sleep and stuff like that. It only took me a couple hours just to get me to like level 40. So I mean, if anybody else that's listening, wants to come back to WoW, now's a decent time to do it until Winds of Wisdom go away.
Don't let her tempt you. Stay free.
Especially if you want to get interested in the new and exciting talent trees that you can actually mess around with, that you don't have to always go back to the home city to change around, and you actually have talent profiles which you can shift around as well.
Oh, nice. That's so nice.
Yes, I'm
I
excited.
will admit the new talent tree system is kind of interesting. I currently had to reset all my talents after 10.0 pre-patch dropped because everything I used broke. Because I use Tell Me When or I use Weak Auras to tell me what button to push, and it's all busted right now because all the talents got fucked.
Yeah, but then you're like, you saw some of the moves, and you're like, yes, I can roll out my dots more efficiently. Yay!
Yes, the auto dots might make a return. They might. Because I used to macro Soulburn and Soul Swap so that, and Berserk for the troll warlock I was playing. So you'd scream out auto dots, roll out. Actually, that's the point where, yeah, because it would put agony, corruption, and unstable affliction, all three of them on your target instantly. So it was a good opener burst. And when I did that back in Warlords of Draenor, it actually came kind of like I was kind of known for it because I would get into a raid, like an LFR or whatever, and I would do that, and they'd be like, "Oh, hey, it's you." It's like, oh yeah, people recognize that now. Shit.
Auto dots roll out.
Well, like I said, I do want to play WoW with you, except for Cajun. Cajun's wife would.
Oh, she would not
Nope.
be a happy camper if you would see her face anytime that name of the game is said in her presence. You would think I was saying the most blasphemous curse to every god on the planet.
Indeed.
Then my general manager is like, so when do you think I was going to come to console? I'm like,
Did you just hear the words that came out of your own
Does
mouth
he
there,
wants
sir?
it. He wants it.
But But no.
But why? Why?
I don't know. Maybe he's
No.
just the console player. He's like, I just want to play on console. Maybe Microsoft can make it happen. I'm like,
No, for his
No.
game is complex, and for the time that it came out, that WoW is, I can't see that happening. I think even EverQuest had a spin-off that was on the PS2 back when they were offering. You had to go buy a separate like Ethernet dongle to go use your PS2 online, and there was a game called EverQuest Adventures. And it was EverQuest, but it was console friendly, and everything you did was console friendly. There was the buttons and all the other good stuff that worked for the game. Like they built the whole game revolving around that scheme. But I can't imagine packing in the breadth of what WoW has onto a single hand unit. Now, if the Xbox, on the other hand, you can. And here's the kicker. I think even the PlayStation as well. You can plug in a wireless mouse and a keyboard, and you can use both of those things to operate the OSs and whatnot. So,
Can, but why?
well,
Why
no.
would you? Why?
Well, it's a thing you can do. Like instead of like using your controller to navigate the password pad, you could pull out the keyboard and type much faster. So it makes sense that it's fully functional in that aspect. So you could technically do WoW on a console.
But I don't see that being a huge need in their genre. I don't see a lot of people begging to play WoW on the new Xboxes, PlayStations.
That'd be really difficult considering the number of abilities you have. Like when you look at someone's hot bars or ability bars or action bars, whatever the fuck, in WoW, it's usually 1 through equal sign on your keyboard that people use, and then it's most of your keyboard as well. So to try and shrink that down to what there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then 2 sticks. So 14 buttons and 2 sticks. Like I think that's right.
That's some finger
That's gonna be
gymnastics there, boys and girls.
yeah, that's gonna be really difficult.
Yeah, it would be. But like I said, the most modern systems, you can plug in a keyboard and mouse, so it wouldn't be far-fetched to say that you could do something like that.
Yeah.
If they put in the effort. I don't mind the fact
yeah.
that, like, Blizzard has WoW, like, login locked off and everything else. So there's a lot of other things going on. Like, you just can't auto-log in using, well, no, they've integrated it, the Microsoft accounts.
Yeah, it's been in the
whatnot.
launcher for a while, like in the Battle.net launcher for some time now.
So it would make sense that if they actually made WoW a UWP type application to be run on multiple platforms, you could do something like that.
I mean,
Yeah, if they
they
put it on the unified platform, it'll be up on Xbox in no time, and Windows Mobile or mobile phone shit and everything else. Is Windows Mobile still a thing?
No,
Thank God.
no, it's gone.
I mean, I get.
Yay. Dating myself here.
They made it work for Diablo on the Switch and all that. So I guess if there's a big enough call for it, they could. It's Activision Blizzard. If they could see a money grab, they'll do it.
Well, Diablo, on the other hand, has much fewer buttons to really worry about, which
Right.
could be mapped. And like even playing the game, you could totally do that. Like you can't like I think it's buttons 1 through 4, and then you've got town portal and whatnot. So like you could totally do something like that, and even combinations of buttons, or like reserving a button to alternate what it is that you're doing. Like it totally makes sense to do something like that.
Maybe a WoW light.
Maybe. I mean, it makes sense, but it's not a thing. It's
No.
I can't see it happening. There would be a whole lot of effort going in, and there won't be much return for it.
No, that's what I'm saying. There's not enough. There's not enough draw or people sitting at their Xbox saying, "Man, I wish I could just play WoW here."
Yeah.
It's just not.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Other than Crit's manager.
Let them dream.
Let them dream and then smash those dreams. What?
Don't say that. I might get fired if he ever listens to this.
But yeah,
Uh-oh.
like I said, putting this out there as things are calming down for me, I totally will. Like, if you guys are going to roll Horde, I mean, I've got my fancy tokens to bust up any character I want. I've played just about everything in the game, so totally do something, go wreck all the Dragonflight stuff. We can go make dragons. Woo! I really don't want to make a dragon, not launch week.
No, because everybody's going to be a dragon, and all you see is on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. Here is a Dracthyr. And he's just going to freaking, oh no, that's actually Amy. He's going to fly off the cliff. Oh, he's dead.
Oh,
I
I hope
mean,
they have like zebra
that's-
pattern dragons. That would be great for you, Amy.
Why zebra pattern?
Barcode.
Oh, fair enough. Well,
Actually, I
Took
did
me a
mess
moment.
around with it. Didn't I make something that was kind of similar to your zebra pattern when you have like that wrath? Like you have like a white base and then you use the wrath scale combo or something like that. It looks like there's like a underlayer of like black scales or whatever that kind of looks like a zebra pattern. I got it. He could do it.
Do we know what classes are available to the Dracthyr, or no? You said that like all classes are available to all races now, right?
Just I think mages, priests, warriors, and
Say druid.
no, not yet because I'm still waiting for my blood elf druid. I really am. I'm holding out for it. I mean, they have troll druids and night elf druids, and I'm like, well, if the night elves are a spawn or a mutation of the trolls, and essentially blood elves come from the night elves. Why is it that night elves can be mages, even though that arcane magic has been banned from the night elves, and hence the reason why, Illidan got, pretty much, shunned from the night elf community is because he was dabbling in the arcane for the most part. Why did that happen? And night elves can be mages, whereas, blood elves can't turn around and become druids, or void elves can't be druids of the void, kind of scenario.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, okay, so hear me out. Scaly bears. Like, I'm totally in for scaly bears. Bears with wings. I would like if they retained the flight without going into flight form as a bear with like giant ass wings hanging off the back and just zoom through the air as like super bear. I'm all in. Like, I will re-level a character just to do that.
Sorry, I went on a nerd tangent. They actually made they made a music video of wanting pretty much blood elves to be druids, and I kind of went along with it because who wouldn't want a phoenix flight form or whatever?
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
I must be really out of the loop. What's a void elf?
Oh, there are alternate races that you unlock for doing things like the
they were introduced in Legion.
Yeah, Valeria is no longer sun touched. She's very quite void touched. She got corrupted. So you have Sylvanas being undead. You have Valeria being LOL. I just got off of Argus. Here, look at me. I'm an emo girl, which is kind of funny because Turalian is like, I am the king of light right now. Let me sit on my throne and bring forth doom because of Norse Dormu. And then Valeria's like, this is kind of a bad situation for our relationship because now I'm voided in your light.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah. Plot twist.
I remember when they had all of the lore written out on their website, and I spent forever reading it, and I don't remember a single word you just
Yeah, there's a reason she's my walking encyclopedia for WoW, because I can't remember half of what she just said.
No, Sylvanas. That's as far as I got.
If you're not up to date on WoW, I'd say go back and see what Nathanos does with home renovations to Teldrassil.
Home renovations. That's a way of calling it. That's a description.
Didn't they set the world tree on fire?
Yeah.
That I remember that for some
right.
reason.
Bob Vila would be proud.
And then you have Smoking the Bear in the background being like, what did I tell you guys all these years? What did I tell you? Only you can prevent forest fires. And then you see a bunch of night elves running around screaming.
Now that's the kind of commercial I can get behind.
Hell yes.
But no, we got Mr. T.
Oh yeah, with his night elf
Mohawk.
Mm-hmm.
I love him. I love them so much. I want them to bring back that event. I'm like literally tearing up.
Wait, what? That was an event? I thought that was just a commercial.
No, you legit had a grenade you can run around and put people with a mohawk on. It was great. It was the greatest thing ever.
It was before you could actually customize your character with a mohawk.
Oh, wow.
It was awesome. Just
It was a
throwing
party
grenades
grenade. It was a party grenade that you threw at people.
It was great. I'm Mr. T and I'm a Night Elf Mohawk. What do you mean I can't be a Night Elf Mohawk? Mr. T hacked the game. I made Mohawk. Like, it was
I remember the commercial, yeah. It was funny as hell, but I didn't realize it was an actual item you could throw.
Oh,
I used to run around Moonguard in the Goldshire and throwing the grenades at people. So good. I loved it.
So much fun. Like that, between that and the zombie invasions for pre-Lich King, those are my two favorite things that ever happened in the game.
I may have turned Crit into a zombie a few times.
I was gonna say y'all just went through that with Classic, didn't
they
you?
had to shut down that event, or they had to just turn that off early because like so many people are like, I can't level. There's so many zombies that are killing us.
But that was
I
the
actively
point.
started
It was
targeting
so
people.
much fun. It was so much fun to turn people into zombies.
Stupid paladins were running around trying to like cure everybody. I'm like, I just want to spread disease. I just want to be a copyright lawyer.
Just remember what they say. If it's fun, Blizzard would get rid of it. Look what happened with the dragon things with dragon riding or whatever it was, where they had that fast flight speed or whatever, and then they're like, people are having fun? No, we can't have this.
Well, didn't they also allow you to like knock people off of the travel flights? Like if you were flying on the back of like a fast travel
at the Griffins
creature, like the Griffin or something, weren't you able to knock people off of them before? Like in vanilla?
Using like some kind of like booterang or whatever used to dismount people.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
people would go. Yeah, people would go AFK at their keyboard thinking that they were safe on their mount. So, like, let's say a druid would go up or whatever, fly up and go flap, flap, flap. Hey, guys! Booterang. Oh, no! You didn't return to your computer soon enough.
Well, I know about the booterang, but I thought there was one that was like if you're traveling on like a Griffin or something from like a flight point to flight point, I thought you could hit people off of there in vanilla.
Oh, I don't remember that. I just remember the net and I remember the booterang.
Yeah, because the booterang, I absolutely destroyed a demon hunter.
Oh yeah, the Potpourri actually turned into WoWpourri. Yeah.
Yeah. The what was it? I was in Azuna, I think it was, and there was a demon hunter on his mount or their mount, and they were maybe about 30 yards away from me off the edge of a cliff, pretty high up. And I was like, there's no way this person is this close to the ground over a huge canyon just floating AFK. I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll just hit them with the booterang because it'll be funny and they'll just float down. So I hit them with the booterang and they started falling, but they didn't start gliding. I'm like, there's no way this person's AFK. Splat. I was like, oh no. Yeah, sure enough, they died.
Oh yeah, there's no coming back from that. You're just a sploosh on the ground.
Yep. As someone who has fallen to my death many, 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 many times in that game, absolutely, you are getting taken off the ground with a shovel.
Darnell used to do that in his Blizz Blues videos where he actually had a friend. There used to be two of his friends that would be on the sandstone drakes. So he would actually shadow step, kill someone, and then do a throw. And then he would repeat the process, jumping between the two sandstone drakes or whatever until the person actually dies. So I'll link you guys to that video later or whatever, just to show you that I'm not just making this crap up, but I really love Darnell.
The most interesting thing I've done as far as like falling is concerned with my mage, I went up to the highest point in Northrend. Northrend, that's the name of the place. And I mounted up and I picked the directions. I wanted to know if I could make it from this point all the way to the boat. The answer is yes, you can. So I mounted up because as a mage, you can just instacast levitate, right? So I mounted up, I ran, and I jumped with the mount, and I used levitate on myself. It despawned the mount, and I levitated at high speed towards the docks. And it was almost like 4 minutes of like, oh my God, levitate's coming off. I need to recast. And I flew from that point all the way to the docks. It was really cool.
Yeah, I that's one of the reasons why I'm a mage right now. Is I like.
So I like in Legion Dalaran, where the class hall was for the demon hunters. You could just run off the end of the flight point and glide right to it. It's like I could fly down, I could take the flight point down, or I could just jump and glide. And most people didn't. But you could also go to the Burning Shore, or is that what it was called? I don't remember now.
Broken
You could actually
Shore.
make it in one. Yeah, the Broken Shore. You could actually make it in one glide from the Dalaran flight point area.
Oh, wow.
If you jumped. Oh yeah, jump and
before-
glide, boys. Jump and glide.
Before the Tomb of Sargeras actually opened up, and also before we got flying in Legion, I ended up using that little. I used the Emerald Winds and some kind of thing to actually launch me off the platform. So I ended up being able to go to the Tomb of Sargeras and actually pretty much perch on one of the statuettes before they're like, "You do not belong here," and they killed me automatically.
Ooh. Well,
An illusion. What is this?
I told Cajun that we could talk about Snap, so
No, I'm enjoying this. Like,
okay.
nothing,
All right.
nothing makes me happier than just having a whole bunch of people just nerd out on something. Say, Snap is not going anywhere. It's a brand new game.
All
Fuck
right.
it. Keep
That's
nerding
fine.
out. It's fun.
I just want to make sure I
Illusion.
gave you your what you wanted to talk about, because we're like,
No, it's good. I'm smiling. It's good.
Good. Okay.
Illusion, why are you dying?
Indeed. We're also like 3 minutes towards the end of the show, so I know it's terrible. I mean, we do set the terms and limits of the show, so it doesn't really matter to me.
But you know what I did? You know what I did? You know what I did?
Tell us.
What'd you do?
What'd you do?
I got Jalen some worms.
Oh, what? You have them on Steam? I don't even have them on Steam.
They actually have it 85% off, so they're only like $2 a pop.
I got Armageddon.
They're usually about like $19 or $14 to $19 per or whatever. So I picked them up a few copies of Worms so we can enjoy what is buddy tonight. Kind of comedic relief in a sense, because you're like, no, don't do that. That's so insulting to die. Like, no, donkey statue, why?
Like, which way will the banana bounce? Towards me or towards you? Only time will tell.
And then sometimes I think they have, I forget which game it was, but it's like you can actually have worms dressed up like a gladiator. And then when you get close, you know how when you get close to killing a worm and then they just like, they explode themselves with the TNT and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they have like this like witty little catchphrase. Like I liked gladiators because it would actually just stare at you before it does the plunger, and he's like, "Et tu brute, boom."
That's awesome.
Such a fun game, man. Such a fun game.
And you can kill other worms that way too, because if someone's close to your detonator when you're actually dying, it actually takes them out too sometimes.
And if the ground level's low enough, you could put a hole in the ground and make them fall into the water and kill them.
Well, that's exciting.
Sploosh.
Cool. Well, let's wrap it up. What you got coming up this week, Cajun?
This week, what the heck is going on this week? Well, now that Gregory has been evicted, my health is back to where it's supposed to be. So I am going to do my best to try to get some streaming back in action. Like I was explaining to Lumi, I don't know if I'm going to go jump right back into the Nuzlocke or if I want to start doing some roguelikes like Hades and Dead Cells, because for some reason that is getting my juices flowing in terms of things I want to play. So I don't know. We'll see what tickles my fancy. I'm setting up so many jokes for y'all, and y'all ain't knocking them out the park. It's funny. And in terms of everything else, that's about it. Just more gaming and more writing. That's all I'm doing these days.
Awesome. Where can we find your content?
Everywhere. I'm on every platform on the Nordic Cajun. You can find me that way on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I might even try to. I'll see if I can push my limits and dual stream on Twitch and YouTube like you're doing. So it's all the same moniker, the Nordic Cajun. Just come and say howdy.
Howdy.
Awesome.
Literally howdy.
Howdy.
Let's move on to Mr. Barcode. Barcode, what you got going on this week?
Not a lot, actually. I'm going to be doing a little bit more WoW. Probably going to sink another few dozen hours into SnowRunner like I am right now. And eventually I'm going to get some stitches taken out of me. And that'll be fun because they're itchy
Yay.
as hell. I don't want to poke them. Apparently that's bad.
Yes, it's bad.
Little bad.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's all I got going on. Just tormenting my body and wanting to poke it with,
So
for
no,
the sake of poking it.
so no Votniks coming up?
Vatniks will be harassed per usual because, it's what I do.
All right. There you go. Where can they find your harassment?
Twitter.com/IME21.
Perfect. Crit, what about you?
What am I doing? I, like I mentioned before, am currently on my little cow. So I'm leveling her up, even though I kind of made a slight detour to the Timeless Island so I can go back and farm coins so I can get some mounts because I want that spectral otter mount that flies and has swim speed increase because you
Ooh.
get that when you have 500 mounts and I am nowhere near that at all. So that's what I'm doing. I will say, I think one of the reasons why I got back into retail a little bit more lately is to pay homage to one of the greatest guild leaders that I've ever had in the history of WoW. And
Yes.
I will say his name. His name is Spartanix. I will remember him as a great guild leader because he brought a lot of our community together, and I will forever be grateful. And I hope that by coming back, I can help keep his memory alive. So
There you go.
Yeah, I saw those pictures y'all were sharing of the little memorial, and that
It's pretty epic.
even as somebody that never got to be in the big guild scene, that made me tear up a little bit because just the community coming together is always really cool.
I
to
would
see.
say, we had 3 full raids for the actual run in his name to go stomp on Stormwind. But I think all in all, there was probably about 250 people that wandered by at various points to say, something about Spartanix and pay respects to him. He was very well known in the community and very well liked.
and the new people
awesome.
didn't understand what was going on, and then they were like, "Oh, condolences and whatnot." I'm like, "Yeah, thank you," but
Yeah.
still.
There was one dude, he was trolling, and I'm like, hey, just so you know, this is what's going on. The guy's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. It's like, yeah, apology accepted, but yeah, this is what's going on. But yeah,
And
it's
one
sorry, go ahead.
person wanted to be a complete asshat, so I think his Dragonflight experience is probably, especially in pre-patch, is going to be a little bit
Limited.
delayed because a whole bunch of us, all 200 of us, decided to report his account and whatnot because he was saying really inappropriate things. And Blizzard's like, just to let you know, we took action against this person's account. We can't say what we did, but the GMs were there. I think with all those mammoths there, they were watching to see what was going on, and they knew. They're like, okay, let's up the servers because even though we're not going to get a call out, I think we know what's going to happen with all these mammoths.
Play stupid
Yeah.
games, win
But it
stupid
was nice.
prizes.
The GM of one of the Alliance guilds, one of the big world PvP guilds, hopped into the Discord to pay respects to him, and he's like, "Yeah, our guild, I can confirm we're not doing anything tonight. It's like, it's a free run. Go have fun."
Same with Ruin, which
Yeah,
is
that's what I was referring to.
Yeah. So yeah, I spoke to him. I spoke to Archaeos, and he's like, "You have my blessings. I'm sorry it happened." For the most, I think that's the gist of what he was saying. For someone that we were rivals with in the past and whatnot, because I mean, not really rivals. I've been kind of friends with Archaeos through Ashran too. I don't have any. I like him. I
Yeah.
like Sparta and stuff like that. I have mutual respect for both of them. But to, I was like, okay, well, if you guys want to PvP, I'm pretty sure some of the people are out here, wanting to PvP. And he's like, no, it's best to sit this one out. And I wish you guys the best. I'm like, oh.
Nice.
Yep. It was very nice touch from them.
Lumi,
Yes.
what about you, sir? What's going down in your life? Because I know we've passed our limit.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, no, if you need to find out what Crit is up to, she is always posting as Needs Espresso on Twitter.
And then one day I'll get back into streaming myself when my computer is in complete garbo and I can actually have a decent webcam and stuff like that set up. I'm gonna eventually get a green screen and try to figure that stuff out because I'm pretty sure you don't want to see all the plushies in my bedroom.
Why not?
Plushies are fantastic.
They make a great backdrop.
I'm looking at 2 Zerglings right now and a Rage Lot.
My room is so small.
I have such a large office.
Okay, in the next podcast, it would be Crit invading Imia's office.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Confused barcode noises. What happened? I'm just moving my stuff in.
Okay, sure. I'm not going to object.
Well, what am I up to? A couple things. So far, I have integrated Twitch in with the UDP Broadcast Production Discord server, so those who subscribe will have access to Ping the Cat emotes and access to all the stuff that we're looking at and what we're presenting, because we don't present
Chat,
the news.
I want to see you guys ping.
Yes.
Let's throw up pings, tons of pings in chat.
That's
I wanna
right.
see it.
All the pings.
All the pings.
All the pings.
Do it. Do it for the barcode, or the barcode will get cranky.
So, but other than that, so we've got that taken care of. I found out that there are follower emotes, but they've gated. I don't understand how they can make you an affiliate and give you 5 slots for subscribers, and they're like, oh no, check this out. You can only get follower emotes if you streamed for 60 days after you're an affiliate. I'm like, what kind of garbage, back-assward, stupid Elon Musk shit is this?
We're talking.
It's
talking,
Twitch. What do
we're
you
talking about
expect?
Twitch here, but Lumi, they don't make sense no more.
Well, either way, I was just like, man, I want people to have access, and Ping's really good, and I want to spread the love, and the best way I can do it is through Discord. I want to see Ping everywhere. I want Ping to be unavoidable. He is majestic, and Dankwort did a great job on him. So.
And you already have his first plus sold to my son when we ever get the merchandise, so you already know.
Indeed. Oh, well, I don't even know how that would work. I'd have to talk with Dank on that, because Dank actually has terms of service. So I would have to discuss it with him first.
Give him a cut.
Indeed. It's okay. I'm getting my Warlord Jalen plushie in at some point, so that's going to be exciting. So that's going to go on a shelf somewhere. So, but other than that, keep an eye out. Be working on the podcast and doing all the things. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You can find me on Twitter as Luminary Weekly, and everywhere else is Luminary Weekly, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. I'm not doing anything on those platforms anymore, but look it up and look for the hashtag, and I tag everything podcast related with UDP broadcast. So that's it. That's all I've got. I don't have anything else going other than with the scheduling that's coming up. I think we have like one more good podcast day coming up on the 5th. And then everybody's going to be everywhere. I think Imy's going to be in the Swamplands. Nordic's going to Scotland at some point.
Yep, Thanksgiving week.
So I'm thinking perhaps maybe there should be a vacation call after the 5th, potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll
Probably
keep you updated with what goes.
And after Thanksgiving and stuff's over, we can have like a big Christmas special, and then end the year on the right note, and then kick 2023 out with a bang.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes.
We'll discuss that more in Discord, but for right now, we've got one more good episode in us before the holiday inning. So
holiday getting.
And me turning 34. Oof. Oof.
34.
Laughs in 36.
I mean,
laughs in 960.
I mean, January 1st is coming around the corner. I mean, I'm dating myself, but still. For the most part.
I do know I'm going to make more efforts to start visiting other streamers and start using ping and saying hello and helping out and offering interaction and things like that, because it's just what you do. It's part of the game for being a streamer. You've got to be social. You got to network. You got to do all the things. And I've met some really cool people just doing what we do, like all the way back to the Nordgil radio days. So I'm down. Like, let's do it. But
let's get it.
That being said, I think it's time to end. So, any last words?
I don't want to go to work tomorrow.
Well, that's
yeah, that's a you problem significantly.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what my wife tells me. You can do anything on your last day.
Yeah.
Well, my mom usually says you're too poor to be crazy. So I'm like, well,
it depends on who you ask.
So I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording. We'll see you in the next one, and then happy holidays.
Yes.
Thanks for coming out, everybody.